This is WRFM on 98.2. A little something for the weekend.
Joining me on the show today is a cosplayer from Belmullet here in Mayo. Her name is Megan Munley, but she also goes by the name Amber Cosplay. So thanks very much for joining me today on the show, Megan.
Very welcome. Thanks for having me.
So firstly, could you explain what cosplay is for those who may not know?
Cosplay it's an abbreviation of costume and play. Basically a performance art. And it's where people who have a passion for your standard nerdy things like video games, anime, manga, which are Japanese cartoons and comics, or even like Western comics and stuff, like characters from those, and they basically make costumes and go to conventions or meetups and dress up as these characters. And
what first started you cosplaying?
I was actually searching through YouTube, looking up video game clips basically, and I stumbled across a video by a cosplay group called Fighting Dreamers, and I just saw it was a video of a photo shoot basically, and they were dressed as characters from my favourite game, and I was like, oh, what's this? So I started looking it up, and it just kind of went from there, and I found an interest in it, and then a couple of years later I actually started.
And what characters do you like to cosplay yourself?
Anything Final Fantasy, really. Final Fantasy is a video game series. In particular, I like cosplaying a character called Yuna. She's from Final Fantasy X.
And would you make your own costumes for going to the conventions?
Yes, I do.
And would it take you long to make your own costume?
It depends on what the costume actually takes. Like, if I was to make a armour piece, it could take me from 3 weeks to 2 months.
So it takes a lot of dedication.
It does, yeah.
And would it be an expensive hobby?
It can be, depending on the materials you use. Like, some people would use like if you're making armour, say, you can use a cheaper product, which is like, say, craft foam. You can get it at any hobby store, and it's like, it works out a lot cheaper. Or you can use more expensive products like thermoplastics and such. And then down to your fabrics, then it depends on how much you want to spend on your fabrics.
Well, I'd imagine now, since you live in Belmullet, there wouldn't be a lot of stores like that down there. So would you go to a lot of online stores, and what would they be?
I generally go on eBay. eBay is a very safe place to go, like, so long as you have a seller with good feedback.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't always recommend buying fabrics online, because you can never be sure exactly what you're getting. If I don't go on eBay to buy it, I go to shops in Galway or Dublin.
And did you teach yourself how to do it, or did you see videos online, or how did you learn?
I'm very much self-taught.
That's very good.
Very much through trial and error.
Well, I'm sure if people went onto your Facebook page there, Amber Cosplay, some of your costumes are absolutely amazing. I'd say.
Thank you.
It'd want to be something you really love when you're putting that much time into it. And cosplaying, it's become massive now, and people are actually making a career out of that.
Yeah, they are. There's a lot of people that they build a very big following, and from there, when they just take their skills and their talents, and they'll commission costumes for people, or they'll start making like little pieces of props and selling them. And there's a lot of people that have actually made full careers out of it, like it paid their mortgages and their rent and everything.
Who would be the biggest one you know now that you'd follow?
Well, there's an American cosplayer known as Yaya Han. She's very well known in the cosplay community, and it's her career. It's her life. Like, that's what she does.
It must be amazing though to turn your hobby into a job.
Oh, definitely. And I know there are some people in Ireland that have started doing that themselves as well, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
And would there be many cosplayers in Mayo? Would you know many?
I don't know that many. There's a few, yeah. Like, you have to kind of search all the little corners to actually find them, but there are some, definitely.
And what would be the main conventions in Ireland? Because I didn't even realise myself till I started looking into it how many conventions do be on every year. So what would be the main ones that people go to?
Well, a lot of them are very popular, but I'd say the likes of Erticon in Dublin. Erticon, it's actually on this weekend, and then there's QCon, which is in Belfast, and there's a lot of conventions, and they all have a very big following to them. It's just who goes to them at the time and who's free to go to them.
And there'd be a lot of guests as well, high profile guests at them, wouldn't there?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Between very well-known cosplayers to voice actors and everything like this. You get some pretty impressive people brought over.
Well, this year now, we had the first Dublin Comic Con, but now I believe next April MCM Comic Con is going to be coming to Dublin.
Oh yes, MCM, the Comic Cons are standardly they're in the UK mostly, but we have 2 coming to Ireland now, one in Belfast and one in Dublin. So that's bound to be pretty massive.
I think that's going to be great because you get the likes, like when I see them coming to the UK, you'll have stars from The Walking Dead, stars from Doctor Who and Star Wars and all them kind of shows, so it's going to be massive to have something like that in this country.
Oh, definitely.
And I believe then, other than the conventions, you have meetups outside of that. How do they work? How do you organise them?
Generally either the committees that put these conventions together, they'll set up days where it's like to break the gaps between conventions, because a lot of them will primarily happen during like the spring and the summertime.
Yeah.
So between like winter and stuff, you don't have all that many. So to kind of break it up, they have
Feed
days.
the hunger.
Basically, yeah. The conventions can be very addicting. But then sometimes just groups of people, like they'll just put events up on Facebook, and then it's just invite your friends, invite everybody, and then we just choose a place and we go and meet up.
But isn't that the fantastic thing about Facebook? You get to meet so many people who have the same hobbies as you, and you meet so many friends.
Oh, definitely. The community, I must say, it's amazing. I think everybody's just so friendly, and if there's one thing anyways, going to these conventions and dressing up is basically a great icebreaker. You get to meet all sorts of people who have the same interests.
Yeah, well, I went with you before to one in Galway, and I was amazed, like complete strangers just running up talking to each other if you were in the same costumes, and it is amazing. It's a great community, and I think it's a fantastic hobby for people to have. So finally, before I let you go, what advice would you give to somebody who'd be interested in starting out cosplaying?
Just don't take it too seriously. Some people will go in and they get a false idea of what cosplay actually is. Cosplay is about your passion for a character, a movie, video game, meeting new people. It's the creative side of it, and getting into your character, having fun. Now that is the main thing. A lot of people seem to forget that it's all about having fun and enjoying what you do. So just don't put too much pressure on yourself, and like you can buy costumes online, so if you don't feel you have the abilities and you still want to dress up as a character, you can always go onto online stores and find costumes there, and then kind of continue on from there then.
And of course there's no age limit on it. You can range anywhere from 6 months old to 60. You see people of all ages.
Like I went to Comic-Con in London, and I seen kids like 5 years old walking around in Batman outfits and everything, going with their parents. It was brilliant. And
it's great. It's a great family day out. You see, as you said there, all families will go out and they'll all dress up together, and it's brilliant.
And of course, amazing to see.
The dream for all of us is to go to the San Diego Comic Con, I think.
Oh, definitely.
Best one. But listen, thank you so much for joining me today, Megan. And as I said, Megan has a Facebook page. It's called Amber Cosplay. And if you'd like to follow Megan and her fantastic costumes that she makes, just go on and like the page. So thanks again.
Thank you.
This is WRFM on 98.2. A little something for the weekend.